conflict, but I don't want to comment on the particulars of those discussions from here.
Just to follow up on that.
Yeah, go ahead.
On the day after plans, can you give us an understanding as to how far along those plans actually are? If you guys have agreements in terms of the countries that would partake in this international force to stabilize Gaza?
You're stipulating something as fact that I have not said as fact from here, but go ahead.
Okay, well, if you would like to, describe it in your own words, have at it. But just, are these agreements still in the works? Are they almost done? Are they ready to roll out, day 2 after a ceasefire? Just give us an understanding of where that stands.
So it really does vary when you look at at different aspects of what's required for Gaza. We have had a number of discussions, including fairly advanced discussions with countries in the region about the security situation, how to address the security situation and ensure security in Gaza, and the same is true for governance. And there are proposals that we have put forward to our Arab partners. There are proposals that they have put forward to us, and we have been working through various differences. And and when I say it's not the case that every country in the region is signed up to the same plan either, right? People have different views about what the best way would be to accomplish this, and people have different political imperatives that they need to be responsive to. So we are working through that. It has been a high priority. Barbara Leaf was in the region last week, meeting with foreign ministers and other leaders. As I said, as I noted, Tom Sullivan was there on Friday. Secretary has had a number of phone calls over the past couple of weeks to talk about these plans. And I don't want to put a timetable on them, other than to say it is critical that the work move forward, and that's what we are working to do.
Okay, and then just one question on the previous question she had about Trump meeting with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Thursday. Are you guys concerned at all about the former president trying to influence the Prime Minister at a moment when there are these tense, high-stake negotiations to come to a ceasefire and hostage agreement?
I don't know what the former president will do, just as I don't know what any private citizen will do in a meeting with the Prime Minister or other officials with the government of Israel or any government. I would just say, speaking generally, that we would hope every American would.
But there's certain things he's allowed to do and not allowed to do.
Yeah, sure. But I'll just say we would hope that every American would find it in the interests of the United States to work towards a ceasefire, to work to get a ceasefire over the line, to work to get the American hostages home. Remember, there's still Americans who are held hostage, not just Israeli citizens, but Americans as well. And so we believe it's in the interest of everyone in the United States to try and reach a ceasefire that gets our hostages home, as well as ends the suffering of Palestinians, and of course that includes Palestinian Americans who are in Gaza, and helps us build better, broader security and stability for the region.
And can I just ask one clarifying question on that? The Hatch Act prevents citizens who don't have authority from the United States from directly or indirectly having correspondence with foreign governments to try and influence the measures or the conduct of those foreign governments.
Is that the Hatch Act or the Logan Act?
Sorry, it's the Logan Act.
Yeah.
I'm
my old DOJ hat on here.
Yes.
I still remember. I remember little bits and pieces of it crawling around back here somewhere.
How would you guys know if the Logan Act was violated here, given you're not going to have any U.S. official in these meetings? Maybe you have a plan for getting a readout. Can you just explain to us how you know?
I think when it comes to any question about enforcement of U.S. law, I would defer entirely to the Justice Department. I don't think it's appropriate for me to comment in any way.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll come to you next, but go ahead, Saeed.
Yeah, very quickly. I mean, we have witnessed before, and I'm old enough to remember the Reagan campaign, and they actually did influence the hostage negotiations and so on, and they delayed it. I mean, there are examples in history where actually this happened, where, certain contenders do not believe that we have one president at a time. I think it's a situation that is probably, kind of critical and for you guys to deal with.
Look, I'm not going to speak to a meeting between the former president and the prime minister, but as I said, we would hope that no American citizen of any party would do anything to jeopardize the work to bring home American hostages who have now been held in captivity for over 9 months. Go ahead.
Thank you.
On the topic of presidents, with